We put a proposition before the country since the 16th of December in 2020 to propose that elections be deferred so that we can go reconstruct the damaged constitutional basis of Nigeria. And it is, that proposition didn't just drop from the sky. We called it constitutional force majeure because we were declaring an emergency around the question of the union agreement that had been, more or less toppled since 1966 and replaced by something totally strange to our original understanding. So we've ceased to be a federation, we've ceased to be a secular union, and the Constitution, the one they call the Constitution 1999, that now has turned our lives upside down, is what we are rejecting. And when I say we, the nationalities, the constituent component nationalities, the owners of the sovereignties that are aggregated as Nigeria, who ought to be the ones making their union agreement. Who were the ones who made their union agreement of 1960 that got toppled in 1966, but who have been pushed out of the way by an illicit federal government, the illicit federal government that emerged since 1967, since the truncation of the constitutions, the federating constitutions. You couldn't be talking about a federal government in the absence of a federation. Nigeria, the Federation of Nigeria died in 1967. Told the story of how they came about the document. They said they formed a committee that went around and people wanted a return to 1979 constitution. And so as a supreme military, as the ruling military council, they added and subtracted from that report and passed put forward what they have made out to be called the Constitution of 1999. And that's how we now came to where we came from a federation of 4 regions to 36 states that are now listed in that constitution as the federating units. 704 local government areas that must be financed from the center every month. 68 items of exclusive lists that seize everybody's assets, the oil and gas of Niger Delta, the port of Lagos, and put all the guns in the hands of that illicit federal government that has in turn been hijacked by an ethnic group in the country, the Fulani, who are also now openly in collusion with the invading Fulani herdsmen that have been adjudged the 4th most deadly terror group on earth by the Global Terror Index, with our commander-in-chief, President Fulani man, presiding over all of that. And we said, look, we've been having elections since 1999. We had one in 2003, another in 2007, another in 2015, yet another in 2019. What has it added to our life other than degeneration? And you can see where the country has gotten to on all indices. And we said, as statesmen, we now put this proposition on the table, having worked out all of what will replace what we had. We're not anarchists. We say, let us go to transition now and begin to rework the damaged constitutional basis of Nigeria. Because on the basis of this 1999 constitution, I tell you that the owners of the constituent components, the owners of the sovereignty, Yoruba could be a country of 60 million people. The eastern side, the eastern half of southern Nigeria will be a country of 70 million people. And we've been organizing since the emergence of this constitution in 1999. You heard about Pronaco. You heard about the MNN. You heard when we went to court in 2007 to say that this constitution was not made by us. The document is still legitimate, cannot be basis of union. You saw the solemn assemblies by which the constituent components told the international community, the global community, that they will no longer be willing to submit themselves to that constitution that ruined their lives. It took their assets, it took all the guns from them and put in the hands of people who are determined to exterminate them and take their lands. The owner of APC party, Tinubu, if they were all involved in this many years of getting the people to decide, our sovereignty is inalienable. Our right to self-determination is inalienable. We are the ones who have to form the union. The Yoruba that could be a country of 50 million or 60 million people, the Igbo that could be a country of their own, the Ijaw that could be a country of their own, bigger than half of the countries of the world, each of them, will be the ones to decide. And so it is an insult in itself for anybody to sit in one corner of Abuja to say that the unity is non-negotiable. You saw the kind of money that have been loaned in our names and where it's been used. They are using the monies borrowed in our name to integrate their own economy to Niger Republic. Infrastructure we do not have, including roads and railways, are being built into Niger Republic. Refineries that we don't have are being built into Niger Republic with monies borrowed in our name. So these are the things going on. So we told the international lending community, look, we can pay what they borrowed before, but from this date, if anybody who goes to risk his money out there is just going to have to go to recover it outside the Nigeria that has been used to mortgage. Is it not the same? Is it not the same UN? I was directly involved in what became this instrument. If you go, there are processes to it. It's not Antonio Guterres, Secretary General, and Amina, the Fulani woman they sent to the place. These are secretariat, executive, members of the secretariat. You understand? That's all they are. The UN system is organized and managed. There's the Security Council when matters become very tough. There's the Trusteeship Council when we raise the kind of dispute we are raising that will deal with the matter. When you sit back in your village and hoping that there's a United Nations that will come somewhere, we went into the place, like I hinted you before. We were directly involved. Professor Soyinka, at my request, God bless him for that will go down what he did to be able to help get this thing out of the place. And Kofi Annan, that was secretary at the time, that we had finished Pronaco, and we were thinking of what to do to enforce our consensus without being accused of treason. And if anybody is going to talk about treason, I can assure you, I'm not just your regular lawyer. I'm also one with a specialty in that area of law. I'm the one to tell you, Attorney General, or whoever turns up on their side, the definition of treason. There's only one treason on the table now, the ones hanging onto this forgery as basis of union and selling 3 million barrels of crude oil every day, shooting at people everywhere in the name of a Nigerian federation that ceased to be a long time ago. And we're saying we can bring it back to be. We have a definite proposition, including step-by-step mechanism. We're not just saying let it be done. We also, incorporated and adopted an open memorandum addressed to the president on the 16th of November 2018. The time he went to France to say that the people who are asking for restructuring didn't know what they were saying. They didn't know how they would go about it. And we responded in writing to him an open memorandum titled, Open Memo to President Muhammad Buhari on the restructuring debate. The Guardian newspaper published it on the 18th or so, 2 days after we put it out. The Guardian published on the 18th of November in 2018. Anybody who researches will see. So we then put, it was by that document, which we incorporated and adopted in the proclamation of December 16th, that we put step by step. Let nobody say they do not know how to go about it. We put a step-by-step mechanism for undertaking that reconstruction that has become inevitable. If Nigeria does not take advantage of this framework in this period that is available, I tell you, those who are choking are not going to wait to be killed to the last man. They've lost their assets in terms of Nigeria, the constitution that seized their economic assets, the ports of Lagos, the oil and gas of Niger Delta, the bitumen of Ondo, the limestone, and everything in between. They've lost the right to even generate electricity for themselves, the right to do their roads, their critical infrastructure, and the right to elect who will govern them. All of those things have been confiscated before. Now they are facing the danger of extermination by people who want to kill them off and take their land.